So first, I want to start off by saying Barakatham, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah Bashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shout out to the whole for that start with the 144,000 Shalom. So, it's a long post, not gonna lie. But point being is, just give you like a little background on it, because I ain't gonna read the whole thing. But, basically, Trump basically passed a law last night, I guess, that, well, I'll read the beginning part. It says, Trump, sneaky ass, passed a bill while we were asleep. Taxes are being raised higher, scheduled changes for 2026 without congressional action. The maximum credit amount is set to revert to $1,000 per qualified child. The refundable portion will also decrease. The age limit for eligible children will decrease at 16. The income threshold at which the credit phases out will be reduced. I'm gonna be honest, like, I know what this means, but I don't really be into it with all this. So like, I don't really be understanding how bad it hurt. And I do have kids that nature, but I don't really understand, but obviously this is something that's hurting Jake. Let me jump down, right? Oh yeah, it says to file your kids in 2026 tax return, you have to be employed, right? If you work overtime, you will be taxed. They be doing like no tax on overtime. I do know that. They said they're cutting Medicaid funding for those who aren't eligible. The plan is to cut out 8.6 million people off health care, right? I just remember a video. Some Jake was saying that the prophets are the one who build these hospitals, but obviously they don't care about you. Those prophets that y'all got, like, obviously they don't care about y'all because they cutting y'all off the health care, right? Watch these hospitals and these ghettos and these, in these hoods, watch they shut down, right? You're gonna slowly start seeing it, right? But it says the bill also planned to cut off 200. See, I know this though. SNAP is EBT, right? The bill also planned to cut out 260 million from SNAP and food aid for low-income families. Also, it's like able-bodied adults under 55 without children cannot get limited SNAP benefits unless they show they're complying with work requirements. Right? The bill also contains 150 billion to gather up more border security and finish building the border wall. If Congress doesn't raise the debt ceiling by mid-July, the U.S. might not be able to pay its obligations like Social Security. So people get Social Security checks, the military salaries, or the debt interest. This shows, but it says this shit is getting real as fuck, bro. Hope y'all following this. He put this bill out at 1 a.m. and it was passed at 5:30 a.m. But this who y'all goofy asses voted for. I'm sure y'all feel goofy, right? And it hit me because, I was already wanted to go into, how this is the revised Roman Empire Day, and I read that. I got a few precepts on that, because like America, once again, America's that serpent, man, and it's like Esau's that serpent. Esau's that serpent, which is Esau run America, but America's Babylon, read about Esau as serpent, right? That snake, the devil, and it hit me because I wanted to go into how even like the same characteristics that Rome had are the same that's here today. And I was watching a little bit of Apostle Tahar live earlier, and one of the first preachers he went into was Luke 2, and it shows you how when Rome started the taxes with Caesar Augustus, they started taxes, and you can do what you want, you can worship your God, you got to pay a tax, and how America adopted that today, as well as America adopted the voting for the voting type thing, the president's type thing from Rome as well. But I want to go into a few precepts because the main thing, like I always, like I've been using lately, the analogy of the woman and her snake, right? With the woman and her snake, and I actually had searched it up. Actually, let me see. Let me see. Here it is. Right. So this is the right. It's talking about a woman and her snake, right? And it says an urban legend claims that a woman would have found her python spreading out his body from her head to her toes when she was in her bed, and that's what Esau do. They started the head, right? All the kings, and the leaders, right? Matter of fact, early 17:2, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication, right? So that's what they do. The kings or these leaders, these presidents, however you want to put them, right, of these other countries, America goes over there and they make them drink that wine. You drink from the head, your mouth is on your head. You drink from the head. So these leaders, right, they end up drinking this wine. They end up falling out the ways. America telling them, yo, you need to do this, do that. To make the society successful, you need to do this and that so that your society can be ran right, And after these leaders drink that, the people follow, right? Just like this snake. The snake starting at the head, right? And it's sizing up to the whole body from the head all the way down to the feet, right? And it says every single evening the woman would sleep with her python sprawled, with her pet python sprawled her body. When she sleep on her stomach, her python, it's like her blood python, would spread out his body from her head to her toes. It was a bonding moment that she cherished with her snake until she noticed something was wrong. After weeks of sleeping with the woman in their bed, the python suddenly stopped eating. She started to grow concerned, and she took the snake to the veterinarian to see why it was refusing meal times that it normally used to love. After hearing that, the woman, it's like after hearing that woman and her python stuck together every evening, the vet was completely taken aback. They asked the woman if the snake sprawls along her body or curls up around her at times. She confirmed that was the case. The vet began to explain to the woman that the snake was actually sizing her up. Every time the snake was sprawling itself along her body, it was actually a bit of a rehearsal of sorts. It was essentially practicing for his next big meal. So, lack of better words, the snake was actually sizing her up to eat her every day. She's thinking it's loving and caring, right? And I say that to say because even going back to the, I think I went off of it. Yeah, I went off of it. But even going back to the Facebook post, right? And understanding, right, that's what Esau doing. And the people don't see it because they don't understand the spiritual. But in the spiritual sense that Esau ain't doing nothing but sizing the people up, right? Okay, Psalms 55 and 21, right? And it reads, it says, the words of his mouth were smooth and butter, right? And that's what they do. They get up, they speak to you smooth words, speak to you smooth things, make you, get you right, make you thinking this shit gonna be good, shit gonna be right. He said, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords, right? And that's what Esau do, man. They speak these, they speak these things as if they are for you, as if they with you, and as if they got your back. As soon as you turn your back, they ready to harm you, they ready to do something to hurt you. And that's what Esau got going on right now, man. You got the Isaiah 19:1, you got that cruel Lord Trump. He over his thing and he getting it popping, right? Job 33:15 tell you that when in a sleep, the Most High is sealing structures in their mind. 1 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. is one of the time that people are asleep, right? So Most High can put that spirit. Most High put that spirit on Trump to get that done, but it's all stages leading up to Jacob trouble. Elder Pastor Rumlock did a lesson a while ago, and he talked about how the stage of Jacob trouble is set, even going back to the time when even going back to like a month ago or a few weeks ago, where Trump basically set up to where the police have military equipment. He militarized the police, right? These are, man, all these things are lining up, ready to get ready for Jacob trouble. And all that snake is doing is sizing you up to get you ready for that trip, man. Right? That's why we titled this lesson, right? The snake is sizing up his prey. And people don't understand that we're the prey. They keep trying to understand that. They keep trying to create narratives and ways to try to feel like Esau is for them or with them, but they're not, man. You know, they speak lies, right? Even, let me stay in this, Psalms 58 and verse 3, it says the wicked are estranged from the womb, right? Who's the wicked? Esau, Edom, Malachi 1 and 4, the border of wickedness, right? They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. All they do is speak lies. The history, everything you know, everything you was taught in this wicked kingdom is full of lies, man. Unless you came into the 100% truth of Yahweh Shah Shah, through the elders and the prophets of GMS, through the spirit of power of Yahweh Shah Shah, right? He said that poison is like the poison of a serpent. A serpent, that serpent in the garden, man, going all the way back to the garden. They deceitful, cunning, subtle, crafty, cunning, right? Very deceitful, right? You know, size you up, trying to get you to follow the ways of evil. What they gonna do? Eventually, all these things are leading up to the trip. It's like the chip. He said they're like the deaf adder that stop with her ear. I mean, they don't want to hear nothing about this truth. They don't want to hear the truth. The Christians ain't trying to hear this truth, man. Right? You can't tell them nothing. Esau slash. You can't tell them nothing. You tell Esau or Christians, they act deaf, man. They don't want to hear. I want to hear what you got to say. What you saying about it? Things of that nature, right? You know, but understanding that Esau is not for our turn, man. Right? Wisdom of Solomon 2, right? Wisdom of Solomon 2, and I just get straight to the point. Verse 12, it says, "Therefore, let us lie in wait for righteous." Right, because we lie in wait for righteous. Isaiah 65:17, that promise that we promised to the kingdom of righteousness. We wait on that kingdom to come. The earnest expectation of the creature. Romans 8:19. Right, we're waiting, man. We waiting on the righteous to get back in rulership. Waiting on Yahweh to come destroy this place. He said, because he is not for our turn. Esau has nothing for us. I don't know why people keep trying to make it seem, oh, this shit getting real. It been real, man. Them people just had us enslaved for hundreds of years, man. It's time for them to come to where all that's going to come to an end. You're right, it's getting real, right? Because now it's getting real because now the elect is waking up more and more every day, man. Right? And just as well as prophecy going out being fulfilled, that's why he said they should overcome him by the blood of the Lamb, right? Matter of fact, Revelation 12:11, right? He says they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they loved their lives until death. What is their testimony? Right? The blood of the Lamb, that's the Yahweh Shah, right? The Lamb, right? But what is their testimony? Right? The spirit of prophecy, man. Yahweh Shah bring us that 100% truth so we can discern the times, we can discern the measure of the time and see what's going on, right? Through the prophecy, through this understanding, right? That's why he said, be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. We know their ways. We know the tactics they're trying to pull. We ain't falling for Satan's devices. You can't harm us to taking no EBT or grain of tax because we didn't care about none of that. Nothing in this world entices us or allures us. We in the spirit of Yahweh Shah, we don't care about none of that. But we know these are tactics and ways that Esau doing to confound Jake and hit his pressure points. Now Jake ready to fold. Now you know Jake ready to try to find any way to get out that position. And boom, what they gonna do? Attack. Now they ready to come attack when they pray. Let's drop the chip on them. Right? It's all the serpent ways to attack his prey, man. Right? They sizing you up. Right? All they doing is sizing you up, but the people don't understand it. Right? And she got a few points in there on it. I just want to hit that point, just understanding that, that Esau is not for our turn. He's not for us. The only way you're gonna overcome this wicked kingdom, this wicked place, is through the spirit of power of Yahweh Shah. Returning to this knowledge, returning to your true nationality. Because then you're going to understand that you don't care, you don't need none of that. Right? The book of Lamentations talk about how we lost Jerusalem and a precept in there. Let me go to it real fast. Bear with me, Lamentations 1. Lamentations 1:12, right? It said, is it nothing to you, all you that pass by, behold, and see if there be any sorrow like unto my sorrow, which is done to me, or what the Lord hath afflicted me in the day of fierce anger. So us losing our homeland, us being thrown out of our homeland and thrown into captivity, right? You think the things we going through down here, that's part of the suffering we're gonna face. I just did the lesson on that titled "The Elect Will Endure That Suffering," because this part of suffering we're gonna face. You know, we're not just happy and, you know, I put like we not just hope, we not just like damn, we not just like yes, like we ain't gonna get EBT no more, like ooh, ooh. Nah, we're getting joyful because we understand that we're coming more and more to our deliverance, right? Guys, I'm gonna go back to Revelations 12 and 11, right? I mean 12 and 12. What it read, right? It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is coming to you with having a great wrath, because he knowing that he had but a short time. They time running out. So they pushing all these beast type ways, they pushing all these serpent type ways, so therefore they can strike and attack on their prey, because they know that they running out of time, man. Right? And these are things that people don't understand, they don't see when the Most High been said, right? 2 Timothy 3 and 1, right? He says, this know also, in the last days, perilous times shall come. Perilous just meaning dangerous, man. Time's gonna come, right? It's gonna get harder. It's gonna get way harder. They expect America to get better. Jeremiah 51 tell you, ain't no healing America. America's going down. America been going down ever since Esau came back in power, man. America's been going down. Excuse me for that. But ever since they've been in rulership, what is that? Jeremiah 20. Oh, it might be Jeremiah. I mean, Proverbs 16. No, I keep saying Jeremiah. Bear with me. Dang. Proverbs 29, right? Proverbs 29:16. When the wicked are multiplied, transgressors increases, but the righteous see their fall. We seeing their fall, right? We seeing them go down, right? They're gonna be revealed in the last day. We witness the falling apart, right? Well, let me read this part first. Like, why is so much wickedness going on? You know, because if the people was established back in Israel in 1948 when they put those phonies over there in our land, right? Why is there so much wickedness on the earth going rapidly? Why? Because the earth is in the hands of the wicked, right? I just said, right, when the wicked are multiplied, transgressors increases, right? They in charge of this place, man, right? So you have a wickedness going all about, right? But point being, right, it's we witnessing the fall apart. We witnessing the fall apart of this building, right? Actually destroyed. We seeing them before it's actually destroyed. I'm gonna say we seeing them fall, waiting on Yahweh Shah to come destroy them, right? But the righteous see their fall. We seeing them scrambling and things of this nature. We seeing them trying to throw any type of dart, any type of thing at us to try to get Jake the Lord fall into the ways of what they got going on, fall into that beast system, right? Because they know they got but a short time. But that's why he said, you know, we put the go to Ephesians real fast. Ephesians 6 and verse 16. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherein you shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. Right? We got that shield of faith. We got that faith and hope when you have Bashan Shada. In due time, we're gonna be delivered from this place. But we understand what he said, right? It's gonna be dangerous time to come in these last days, right? Things gonna get harder. We're gonna be persecuted, hated for his name's sake, right? This did lesson yesterday. Talk about it, right? Second Thessalonians 3 and 4, right? When I was with you, I told you these things. We supposed to suffer. We supposed to go through these things, right? This is the suffering. This things we got to face that help us get to the perfection, so that we can get to the kingdom, man. Right? Second Ezra 7 tell us, right? You got things on the right, things on the left. These things that the Most High talk about, right? He said they should be like madmen sparing none. Right? He also said they should be tried like gold is tried. Then shall we know who am I chosen. So when they come out doing all these things, rambling and wilding out, right? The ones who remain faithful in the truth, they're going to take it on the chin and endure the hardness of a good soldier, right? Because we know that Yahweh Shah going to fight for us, right? He said in that time, you ain't got to think about what you're going to say. It shall be given to you through the Spirit, man. But the people ain't spiritual. Now they still out here trying to fight for equality, look for a rest. But they got to understand that this ain't our homeland, this ain't our place, right? This ain't a place that's for us. Esau ain't got nothing for you. Esau ain't here to make your life better, you know, right? Another point I want to touch on, right, when she went into when she went into talking about that voting, right? Like I was saying in the beginning, right? You got to understand, like, this ain't nothing but the revised Roman Empire, man. Which we gonna hit this, right? And then we gonna hit Romans. We gonna hit Revelations 13, right? But it said first Maccabees 8, right? It said, moreover, how they made for themselves a senate house, wherein 320 men sat in the council daily, consulting all way for the people, to the end they might be well ordered. To the end they might be well ordered, right? So just going into the this is the time of the Romans. The Romans ruled ancient Rome, a rulership. Taking over the known world. Then you got the 12 Caesars, right? And you got the three heads, right? You got Pompey. You got Julius Caesar, the middle head. You got Pompey and Crassus, right? And this is the first triumph, right? We'll go to it, right? Second Ezra 11, right? The first triumph, right? So you got the eagle, right, which had 12 feathers, which is the 12 Caesars. You got three heads, which is part of the 12 feathers, but it's Julius Caesar, the middle head. You got Pompey and Crassus, right? And they got the first triumvirate. Oh, I'm saying it wrong. Let me see if I can get a pronunciation of it. But actually, I'm going to read verse 4 real fast, right? It says, but her heads were at rest, and the head in the midst was greater than the other, yet it rested with residue, right? So that head in the midst is who? Julius Caesar, right? The head in the midst is Julius Caesar. Then you got Pompey and Crassus, right? So you in the first triumph, that's when they come together and they put we'll read about it real fast. Let this Wi-Fi connect. Slovakia, let's see that's not my Wi-Fi. All right, we'll just turn that off. Slovakia for the notifications, all notifications that's gonna pop up. Right? So this is the all right, Slovakia for that, man. We trying to keep my phone on airplane mode so I don't receive no calls things that nature. Someone end up interrupting. But we'll back to it, right? So I was right here the first trial. Let me see if we can get a pronunciation real fast.
First triumvirate. First triumvirate.
First triumvirate, right? So the first triumvirate was a political alliance in ancient Rome formed in 60 BC between Julius Caesar, Pompey, and Marcus Licinius Crassus. This informal agreement allowed the three powerful men bypass the Roman Senate and exert significant influence on Roman politics, ultimately contributing to the decline of the Republic, right? So basically, these three powerful men, right? They come together, right? And basically, they be in rulership in Rome, right? I'm gonna tell you characteristics: a skilled politician and military leader who sought greater power and influence, a successful general known for his military achievements and conquest, and the wealthiest man in Rome seeking military fame and recognition, right? So they all got characteristics, but out of all of them, right? Let me see. I'm gonna show you, right? Because you're gonna see that, right? So after Crassus died in war, right? After Crassus died in the war, right, or in the battle, right? Because they was all hating on Julius Caesar, right? Because when you go back to the precept, right? Second Ezra 11:4, it says, but her heads were at rest, and the head in the midst was greater than the other, yet it rested with the residue, right? So the head in the midst is Julius Caesar, and they was hating on Julius Caesar, man, right? And we're gonna read right here, right? It says the first trial in a formal alliance between Julius Caesar, Pompeius, and Crassus, right? In it due to a combination of death and shifting power dynamics, right? Crassus' death in battle against the Corinthians, right? Then you got Caesar's daughter Julia, Pompey's wife. She died shortly after. Right, it shattered the alliance. This loss of shared political and family ties led to a breakdown of trust and ultimately resulted in civil war between Caesar and Pompey. Pompey was assassinated. Right, Pompey was assassinated in Egypt after defeat after being defeated by Caesar, ending the triumvirate and paving the way for Caesar's rise to power. But I want you to see, it's like I want you to see, let me see, where is that? Oh, here it is. I don't think I just read this, but it says Crassus' death in 50 BC while campaigning in Parithia destabilized the alliance, and Pompey, who had become jealous of Caesar's military success, began to align himself with the Senate against Caesar, right? So he was jealous, man. He started basically hating on Caesar, man, and they eventually ended up taking Caesar down. He was assassinated as well. His last word was "E tu brute," basically like in Latin, it means like "you too, Brutus." Like one of his close friends who like was like the last one like backstab him, and he was like kind of like shocked basically about it. But I actually put the link of that video of the 12 Caesars under this. But the point being, this is the backstory on going until we read about the first Maccabees, right? So after the first triumvirate, right? Then that's when they started to see that they was already hating on Caesar. They started seeing that he was having too much power, man. Right? He was having too much influence, and they started to see that he was gonna come into that monarchy type power, right? Which is right here. I got right here in my notes, right? Julius Caesar was great because of his military status and the way he carried himself, going to war, promising soldiers land and riches, and giving it to them. And others started to realize he was trying to come into power. It's like he was trying to come into that monarchy power. Right? I got right here in my notes the Troy's first triumvirate, right? Because explaining all that, what I basically just said, right? So he's scared that he's gonna come into power, right, and take over that monarchy, power type. Monarchy like just the king, one ruler, right, and then it goes from Julius Caesar, then Julius Caesar have his son, it goes to his son, then it goes to Julius Caesar's son, so I think they should go to lineage, right? You even have one ruler going on, right? But after they basically after they backdoored them, right? After they snaked them out, what they were doing, they was killing each other a lot, man. And when the elders break it down, and the elders break it down smoothly, it's allow you to be able to understand it, man. It's a powerful, edifying, exalted video. Like I said, I'm gonna put it in a link. For the young brothers like myself, it's a edifying video for us to watch and to be educated through the spirit, probably how about Shah, right? But getting back to it, first Maccabees 8, right? It says, verse 16, it says, and they committed their government to one man every year, who ruled over all the country, and all that were obedient to that one, and that there was neither envy nor emulation among them. Right. So basically what it's saying is they started this go right here to show you, right? To show you how the president is not elected, he's selected. Because as you see, it says, right, they made themselves a Senate house wherein 320 men sat in council daily. These like the higher ups, like the rich people, like in today's time, this would be like the higher ups, the rich people. How when Elon Musk's son said to Trump, like you're not even the president, because they knowing that these higher ups, these rich people they select these people to be in office, and that goes to show you and they've been doing this since Rome, the ancient Rome, which today is the revived Roman Empire today, right? With Esau still in rule, right? But they and this characteristic to show you that your vote don't matter. And she said this who y'all voted for, but she got to understand, and I'm related to the post that was posted, right? You got to understand that your that voting don't matter, right? It's prophecy that's going to be fulfilled, right? Isaiah 19:1, that cruel Lord, which Trump showing them characteristics of being that cruel Lord, right? Also understanding that this how they work. Even the ancient Rome, even in today was the rise of empire, which these characteristics show, right? That you see that even back then that vote didn't matter. Right? They did this back then so that they can rule out that monarchy. They did this. They started the voting so they can rule out that monarchy rulership type thing. right? Got it right here in my notes, right? So America adopted this way today, but this shows that your vote don't matter. They know who's going to be selected in rulership. The voting started with the Romans. Instead, just having a king rule the whole time, they came up with voting. They did that to rule out monarchy. They did that to get rid of the one king ruling the whole time, right? And that's what you got to understand today, that your vote don't matter. That's why that's why you hear the elder thing and say around them voting times, that shit don't matter, man. It ain't for us to be tied up in the ways of that world don't matter, because Esau know what they got going on. Esau know who's coming into power. I don't know why anybody thought that female was coming into power. I don't know why people thought that. I don't know why people thought that they was gonna let that happen. They knew it was a reason Trump got back into that race, because they was gonna put him back to rulership. Because they know Trump don't care about his. They know Trump gonna, hey Trump, you gonna get up here, you gonna do this, right? It's all Job 33:15, man. It's all the Most High working through his left hand, right? But we gonna get right here. We're gonna go to Romans. It's like we'll go to Revelation 13, right? And we're gonna start at verse 1. It said, I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, right? The 7 heads is, you got Greece, Rome, Spain. That's like, I don't want to put the phone down so you can make sure you can hear me. Greece, Rome, Spain, France, Germania Major, Germania Minor, which is Germany today, and Great Britain. That's with 7 heads, right? And the 10 horns is EU, right? And it says upon the 10 crowns, right? It's like, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and the 10 crowns represent that these are the, the kingdoms that were coming to rulership. They were coming into power, right? It says upon his head the name of blasphemy. Upon his head the name of blasphemy, and that's just the all the bullshit and all the gimmicks that they whitewash. They make everything seem that Yahweh and Yahweh Shai white. They whitewash everything, man. The blasphemy, all the lies they tell about things of nature, right? How they debunk the 100% truth. Try to make everything seem like a lie. Try to make it seem like Yahweh is the God of everybody, which he's not, right? They falsify their names, right? Call it Yahweh Shai, JC, call him Jesus Christ everywhere, things of that nature, right? And I got my notes right here on it, right? So this Apostle John on the island of Patmos, which is the Mediterranean Sea, and the surrounding seas there, this beast with the heads and horns is a representation of kingdoms that will rule. Inferior kingdoms that will rule jointly with them, right, is what this saw. His crown represent that these horns would be in power. When we seen these 10 horns, we seen these 10 horns in power was 1958, was representation of the EU, right? The blasphemy, the slander and lies that Esau put on Yahweh's name, right? Let me see, make sure I ain't spelled. Oh, thought I spelled his name wrong, right? And verse 2, right? It says, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads, right? Greece, Rome, Spain, right? One of his heads, right? As it were wounded to death, right? What is that? That's the Roman going down to the Greece. That's the Roman. That's the ancient Roman Empire falling, and his deadly wound was healed. What is that? That's the Renaissance, right? The Renaissance was started in Italy, right? With the Italian word for NATO, right? That's when they come back in power through NATO, which is reborn. That's the rebirth of the Roman Empire, which is America is that revised Roman Empire today, right? Which was and that's the point of me showing you the characteristics of their voting that America took, right? And I'm leading this all up to show you the point of all Esau doing is the snake sizing up his prey, man. He put you in these hurtful positions. He put you in these bad ways, so that therefore when it's time for that chip to drop, Jake, bulked out. Jake in that bulked out state gonna be running to try to get it. I need it. I need EBT. I need this. I need that. And then chip going, oh yeah, you take this chip, you gonna get that. You take this chip, you can get this, right? But let's keep reading on, right? It says, his deadly wound was healed, right? The Renaissance, right? And all the world went after the beast. Everybody love America, right? Got it right here in my notes, right? The wounded was healed. The wounded was healed during the time of the Renaissance period, right after the Greeks beat the Romans. They came back in power. In history, that's the Renaissance. right? Roman Empire built back up when they colonized America. That became the total revival of the ancient Roman Empire, right? Because it goes to when they let me see what that is. Salakia, bear with me. Let me see. Job, Book of Job. Dang, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. What's the word I'm looking for? When it's gonna come? What was it's gonna come to me? Dang. Dang, what's the word I'm looking for? Enterprise. Job 5, right? Let me see. This is what I want. Right? Job 5 and 12, right? He said he disappointed the vices of the crafty, right? Disappointed the vices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. And that's what they, and you know, right? You're going to see, right? They have to have an enterprise that goes all the way back to the Renaissance, right? This is their goal to gain control of the whole world, right? They want control of everything, but they need a place to establish their plans to launch their new world order. And that's why they came over here to America. That's why we read at the beginning, that's what we read at the beginning about Job, it's like Psalms 58:3, right? The wicked are strange from the room. They go forth speaking lies. They're forced of liars, man. All they do is lie. Oh, we were selling 1942. You sell the ocean blue. No, they did that because they came over here to America. They knew people was over here. That's why they came over here to America with that mindset. They came over here in throwing the so-called natives into slavery and all that, take control on, taking their land, taking their spices, because it come out that bottomless pit, man. In that bottomless pit, why they went out taking their resource thing, because the bottomless, that's why it's called the bottomless pit, because they lacked all those things. They lacked all the resources. They lacked those things, so they came over here to take those things from Jake, right? And then they needed a place to establish that enterprise, right? And to launch that new world order, and from that there was America. That's the reason he was sent over here, and that he was talking about Christopher Columbus, right? It said he disappointed the devices of the crafty, because these are all devices that they try to use. Once again, even with putting hardship on Jake to put Jake in the position, right? You see how when Jake get in bad position, now what they do? They go out and steal. They go out and do these things. They go out and find any way to try to make ends meet. So that's why Esau gonna put him in that position to where, boom, now all of a sudden, hey, you got this chip right here. This chip right here, man. You're going to be able to pay your bills. Your credit going to be right. You're going to be able to get all your money back on the taxes. You're going to be able to get health care. You're going to be able to get EBT SNAP. Your family this and that. You're going to be able to get all you're going to get all your Social Security stuff. All your this and that. Things of that nature, right? That's them devices they use to attack their prey, basically, for lack of better words, right? So at verse 4, right? And it says, and they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him, right? And this goes to Daniel 2:21. The Most High raised up the king, set up king. The Most High put Esau into that position so that Esau gonna rule. Esau gonna rule with authority. He gonna rule with the sword, man. There ain't no coming against Esau cornerly. The only way you can overcome this thing through the blood of the Lamb, spiritually, understanding the spirit of prophecy, understanding these things are going to happen, being prepared. Isaiah 33:6. Wisdom and knowledge and stability in that time. These are the times, these dangerous times, right? These perilous times when things get harder, things get better. It's for us to prepare ourselves through the spirit of Yahweh for these dark, right? Ephesians 6:16. Right, we got the shield of faith to block these fiery darts from the wicked. We blocking them things away. We keeping the shield of faith up so these things can't come against us. Cause we wise as a serpent, but harmless as a dove. See, they hide these things and they hide it from you, right? But we wise in the spirit of Yahweh to see these things, understand these things. Therefore, they can't confuse us. They can't trick us. They can't get us with these ways because we already knowing they lied about it. Wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove, right? I'm breaking down my notes, right? It says this be how working on the left hand side through Satan, and Satan giving Esau power to build up these dragon-like kingdoms, the new world order to solidify that image. They're gonna try to make everybody take the chip, just like back then when they used to brand the slaves, right? They go once again. These all tactics and ways of devil devices to solidify the new world order, right? That's why the biggest threat to the new world order is who Jake, and especially Jake, who know that know their true nationality. That's why it says consult the hidden ones. That's why I said let's cut them off from being a nation. They want to get rid of Jake and all, right? And it goes to show you things. That's why Jake, you think Trump trying to get the Mexicans out of here. They know who Israelites is, man. They know the true Jews, black, know all these. They know these things, right? They trying their best to find any way to keep they image up, because right now they being exposed. They being exposed. You got the prophets, the others teach the true man is true out here daily exposing who Esau really is. So their ways are coming to light. The wickedness is coming to light, right? It says when the wicked are multiplied, transgressions go out to the world. When Alexander the Great, Alexander the Free, right? The first Maccabees 12, when he came into power, right? What did it say, right? And that goes into the Greeks, right? When Edomites, not the ancient Greeks who were Japhite, when the Edomites, the Greeks, when they first came into power, right? Edomites first came into power. What did it say, right? Let's see, first Maccabees 12, or it might be second Maccabees 12. Bear with me. Yeah, hold up. I don't know how to find it. Bear with me. We want to find a quick precept real fast. Oh, Slaki. Okay. First Maccabees 1, Slaki. And verse I started verse 7, right? It says, so Alexander reigned 12 years, then he died, right? And his servants bear rule everyone in his place. After his death, they had put the crowns upon themselves, so their sons did after many years, evil was multiplied. So after he died, right, he basically like his top. So I got right here in my notes. So yeah, this actually good. This is spirit. How about Shah, right? He's talking about Alexander the Great, right? Or the Alexander the Greek, right? He conquered the known world at the time through Macedonia. To Macedonia, the original Macedonians were Japhetic people, brown-skinned people of Japhite, right? But Alexander, his father Philip II, wiggled their way up into Macedonia, and this was the beginning of Esau taking and conquering the known world at the time. Esau, meaning red, right? Or Idumea, Edom, right? Edom. Let me see. Let me go to First Maccabees real fast. It's not First Maccabees. The book of Malachi 1 and 4, right? Edom meaning red, and Esau meaning wasted away, because they pigment was wasted away, right? That's where you get white people come in there, right? Because their serpent was a melanin man, right? But when the evil spirit from that serpent went on to Cain, and Cain slew his brother, he was cursed with leprosy, right? So then you coming through Esau, you have that evil. Then they go right the way through the flood. Then you got the evil spirit which comes on to Esau, which come back through Esau, right? Esau just mean wasted away. What meaning what? They melanin, they pigment with script. That's why they came out red. You can see their blood so forth through their skin. That's why they call Esau or Edom, right? Idumea, the Greek way they said, right? But going back to First Maccabees, or we go back to First Maccabees 1 and actually I started verse 4 actually, right? He says he gathered a mighty strong host rule over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. After all these, he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and right, some of them grew up with him. Right, some of them like grew up with him. They was like his generals, his top generals. They grew up with him. Right, such were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth. Right, they grew up with him and part of his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So he basically like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you get this, you get that part, you get that part, right? So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bear rule everyone in his place, right? So he passed them around to like the ones he grew up with in his honorable generals, things of that nature, right? So the Edomites in rulership, as we just read in the notes, right? The Greeks, right? This is the first beginning of Esau ruling, right? And it says after his death, they put all the crowns upon themselves, so they ruling, right? So Alexander the Crete, right? And this was Elder Pastor Rumlad, we call, or the elders call Alexander the Free, Alexander the Crete, right? Alexander the Crete was on his deathbed. He called his generals that fought with him by his side. Some grew up with him, divided kings amongst them. Evils, and as opposed to say evils, excuse me, but evils were multiplied on the earth because that's the first time when the wicked have controlled the earth back in 330 BC when the Edomites conquered the known world, right? So when they conquer this known world, right, this is when they come into power, right? And the wicked is multiplied, right? The wicked come into rulership, right? So going back to Revelations 13, right? And read verse 4 again. And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, "Who is like unto the beast, who's able to make war with him?" Right? And this all prophecy, man. You gotta understand that the Most High put them in rulership. Therefore, the earth is in the hands of the wicked. So you gotta understand this is a wicked place. So you thinking that any good will come out of this wickedness, you a fool, man. Right? Understand that it's all prophecy that's being said, but all this thing is what? Is this serpent sizing his prey up to get ready to attack, and he gonna come out with that chip, right? He gonna come out with that new world order. He pushing his devices, he pushing his traps, his snares and traps for you to fall into this new world order, right? Verse 5, right? He says, "And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemy, and power was given unto him to continue 40 times." It's just like the slander and lies that they do, right? The slander and lies that they speak. Talk about America speaking slander, speaking these lies. These presidents get up here in front of your face. "Oh, I'm gonna do this for you. I'm gonna do that for you." All they doing is just size you up, man. Just entice you up, blush you up, right? Just ready so they can get on you, right? And it says, "And he opened his mouth and blasphemed against Yahweh, to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and then that dwell in heaven." And you see that now, right? You see that now. They falsify his name, ignorantly got the world calling Yahweh Shai. Ignorantly got they got the world calling Yahweh Shai Jesus Christ, right? They got calling on God. They don't even know his real name, right? Changing all his transgressing laws, doing all these things, blaspheming the Most High in all type of ways, man. Right? But I'm gonna jump down to verse 11, right? It says, "And I beheld another beast come up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." Right? So if you go to Revelation 17, it tells you that eighth head, right, that from the beast, right, that eighth head was come out, and the beast come out the European, come out of Europe, right? So the eighth head which come out which comes out of Great Britain, right, which is who? America, right? And the two horns is the Republican and Democratic Party, right? So Esau, how they do, they speak peace with they laws, but how they move like a dragon. It says two horns represent the powers of the Senate and the Senate, the Republican Party, and Democratic Party. Right? It says, "I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. He had two horns like a dragon, and he spake as he had two horns." It's like I'm all over the place. "And I beheld another beast come up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." Right? And that's America, right? Like how they be talking all good thing in nature, but it's just a dragon-like system, it's the beast-like system, man. Look at the things they doing right now. Look what the spirit came upon through the lesson about Trump doing all these horrible these beast-like things to the people, man. right? And it shows, right? And it says that he exercised all power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth of them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed, right? Once again, right? What we just read in First Maccabees, right? How they First Maccabees 8, right? How they take the voting and do all these things, do the same characteristics, do the same thing that America do. Everything in that first beast is what? The ancient Roman Empire, right? And his deadly wound was healed through the Renaissance. So everything that ancient Rome did, America mimics that today because why? We're in that ancient Roman Empire, man. Right? And it says he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Right? So the first beast is ancient Roman Empire. Everything in America mimics ancient Rome. Back of dollar bills, they got Latin written on it. Why in school you learn the Roman numeral, right? Well, the point being, right, is you gotta understand that this Esau's in that rulership. Esau's still in that rulership. So now they pushing their new world order. They pushing their beast system, and these all snares and traps, right? Let me see. It's a book of Psalms. Bear with me. Right? Psalm 64, right? It says, they encourage themselves. Matter of fact, we'll start at verse 2. Right? It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. Right? Who is that? The illuminated one. The ones behind the scenes. The ones who actually put the president in place. The president just a puppet. Right? Matter of fact, I'm going to finish this real fast. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Right? The illuminated ones who whet their tongue like a sword and bring their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter word, that they may shoot in a secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. It says they encourage themselves in the evil matter, that new world order. They consume of lying snares, privately snares, traps. Who shall see them? And this one on right here, right? They put them out. Right, they put you in the standpoint. You ain't really seeing they trying to push their new world order. All you seeing is them pushing the pressure point of taking EBT, of taking this away, taking that away, right? For you to have a good life. But now they just finna what? Oh, you want that good life? Take this chip, right? But I want to go to Isaiah, and I don't mean to make this too long, right? Isaiah 14, right? And I started verse 3, right? It says, it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. Because Most High put us here as punishment, right? But this is the rest. Once again, Micah 2 and 10, right? Just talking about yesterday in the lesson how the elect gonna endure this suffering. But the people are looking for a rest, man. The people are looking for a rest. People are looking for a way they can chill and sit. That's why they going those EBT, the taxes and all that shit, when they get the money back, things of that nature going. That was the rest for the people. It was giving the people the rest for them to be able to provide food, getting these things. That's how Esau keep them confused, keep them down, right? That's why they put these churches out. They put all these things around, right? That's also a rest that Esau put out for people and the people are looking for a rest, so the people run to these things. The people are lured to these things. The people they put these things before the Most High, right? But it says, and it shall come to pass in that day the Lord Yahweh shall give thee rest. When Yahweh shall come and destroy this place, and the elect be beamed up and took not this place, right? And judgment gonna come, right? But everybody gonna be born again to the kingdom through the elect seed, right? But judgment gonna come. And people gonna get their rest when we get back to the kingdom. What you gotta understand down here, we meant to go through hardship, right? As it says, and it shall come to pass in that day the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. Who made us serve this, right? Deuteronomy 32. Lest thy adversaries should say the Lord have not done all this. Right, the Most High put us in this position. So soon as you able to understand that, being wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove, soon as you're able to understand that the Most High put us in this position, the better off you gonna be, because you gonna understand He coming to deliver us, right? But you got to return back, and you got to suffer. You got to endure that hardness of a good soldier, man. Because this is mercy. Our nation could have been avoided, but the elect understand these things and understand that okay, we supposed to go to these things. right? I don't give a fuck about taking no. See, it hurts you because you love these things, but the elect, they don't love nothing. They don't love this world or nothing in this world, so you can't get them, right? Matthew 24:24. You can't trick them with them great signs and wonders you come with. You can't trick them with them things. You can't trick them with the new cars, the clothes, the EBT, the tax money, all that. You can't trick them with that because they don't find no fashion in it. Because we know the fact of this world passed away, right? But to keep going on, it says, thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how the oppressor seized the golden, have the oppressor seized the golden city seized. What is that golden city? Babylon, right? Who's the oppressor? Esau, Edom. They took over this city, right? But the king of Babylon represents the president, but the president ain't really in rulership, right? The king of Babylon represent the president, but it really ain't. It's really dealing with the shadow government. The president is just the puppet, but you got the higher ups, right? The ones who own things, or the ones who really own things, are the top, like Vanguard. But that's just examples. Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Oppenheimers, right? These top 7 banking families who really pushing that new world order, who really pushing that thing, and they got Trump getting it done, cause Trump don't care. Trump will take, you know what I'm saying? Trump, you know what I'm saying? That's why they pushed it like that, right? He just a puppet. He get them out there. Hey, you gonna do this? Hey, you gonna do that? You know? Hey, we gonna do this and that. So now they definitely gonna be ready to take the chip. Now we definitely gonna be able to control them all, right? I jump down to verse 6, right? It says, he smote the people in wrath with the continuous growth. He that ruled the nation in anger is persecuted and non-hindered, right? Because we going through hell. They rule the nation in wrath with a continuous growth. They continually come with these things. First, you see the military get, and it's all stages set for Jacob trouble, right? You know, first you see the military. It's like you see the what is it? You see the Western name get militarized, right? You see the police get militarized. Now they coming for the EBT. Now they coming for these things. They finna come for a lot of things, right? Cause what they want to do, right? Jump down, right? Verse 12. Jump down to verse 13, right? It says, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation and the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. That's what they want to do. They want to be like. They want to be like God. They want to be like the Most High. They exalt themselves for anything that is called God. But in due time, they're gonna be put in their place. In due time, like Most High told them, you're Ezekiel 28. You're not a God. You are a man, right? In due time, they're gonna be put in their place. But you gotta. But once again, which we can end off with, right? And I ain't mean to make this long, right? Spirit is moving, right? It says, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as a serpent and harmless as doves, man. So you gotta understand these ways. You gotta understand the ways of a serpent, man. Just like when I read you the thing of the lady, right? The story of the lady and her snake. You gotta be wise as a serpent. You gotta understand when the snake sizes you up. You gotta understand this when the snake is sizing you up, so it's because it's getting ready to devour you, man. That's why the Most High said, matter of fact, that's what we can really end with 2 Peter 5:8. It said, be sober and be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeing who he may devour. So you got to be sober. You got to be vigilant, right? You got to get in this book. You got to get in the knowledge of Yahweh. You got to get out the ways of those lies so you can see these gimmicks and games and snares and traps in these ways that the snake, the serpent, the devil, Esau trying to get you, and he sized you up trying to get you, man. Right? So you can fall to the way, because ultimately it's going to lead up to what? Revelation 13:6. He want everybody to take that chip. Rich and poor, small and great. He want everybody to take that trip, because no man going to be able to buy or sell, do nothing without it. So he trying to put you in position to where hardship, to where they can trick you, to entice you. Hey, you want this? Hey, you trying to get out of that position? I got this chip for you, right? So you got to be wise as a serpent, man. So with that being said, I hope this lesson was edifying and exalting, right? And I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone, and shout out to the Hope for Less, started with the 144,000, Shalom. And I'm going to put that video of the 12 Caesars, the link into the description.